Hello, and welcome to Open House virtually of Advanced Placement in European History. I am Dan Barron, the instructor. What do we do in AP Euro? Well, we cover the history of Europe from about 1450 to the present. That is Europe and, of course, the areas that were influenced by Europe, which by about 1600 is the rest of the world. It is similar to a modern Western civilization class that one might get at college. On a typical day, I'm lecturing, and students are furiously writing notes, trying to keep up. Students also need to organize that information that they're writing down. I do welcome questions, as many questions as possible, and I frequently give good answers. And if I don't have the answer, I just pretend I know and say it confidently. Oftentimes, we look at documents, and students have to interpret those documents. That's kind of a fun thing, looking at real documents from European history. There's also, sometimes we just do some readings, we do some discussion from time to time. If I have a video, I like to show videos as well. And then every once in a while, we also have formal assessments that the students need to do. This is a very demanding class. Writing for 40 minutes or so, learning to take notes for 40 minutes is really quite demanding. Simply holding a pen or a pencil and writing for that period of time is something students really aren't used to doing right away, but their hand strength gets quite a bit greater over the course of the year. Writing essays also is not the easiest thing in the world to do, to collect your thoughts and to write down the facts that you know. Supporting a thesis is also pretty demanding. Simply remembering the vast amount of information is also pretty difficult, but students are usually pretty good at doing that. I like to have the students read between about 3 and 10 pages every evening, almost every evening during the week, and I think that's really important to kind of back up the information that they learned in class and solidify that in their brain. Sometimes we interpret texts or graphs or pictures from European history as well, and that's something that is not always easy to do. It requires a certain amount of thought and analysis to do it correctly. Really, though, anyone can be successful in AP European history. They just need to put in the time to be successful. So doing the reading and taking notes carefully is really quite important. I don't have a lot of time to waste, and so I really like to go bell to bell every single day. It's just a very large topic, and we don't really have a lot of time to cover everything, and so we really spend the time that we are in class or that class is in session just doing history. There is a Google Calendar that tells students what we will be talking about on any given day. There's also the same calendar also tells students when the assessments are. The calendar also tells them what the readings are, and there are links to the reading quizzes that go along with the readings. After a student does a reading, they need to do a reading quiz right away as well. The assessment reminders are also very important. They can plan ahead, see 2, 3, 4 weeks, whenever our next assessment is. That's really quite important. Schoology is really the one stop, though, for everything that students would need. All the readings that we might do in terms of things outside of the book, certainly all the lectures, the videotaped lectures, and samples of essays that other students have written, or the kinds of graphs and texts and so on that we might be looking at, all in Schoology. For the assessments that happen, we have written assessments, which are about 40% of the grade. These are the same kinds of things that students find on the AP European History exam. There's some multiple choice exams, but there are 4 of those per semester. But the written assessments that I'm talking about, the 40% of the grade, we do 1 documents-based question, 1 long essay question, and 4 short answer questions over the course of each semester. And as I said, that's about 40% of the grade. There's also, like I said, online reading quizzes. Students take a reading quiz right after they finish a reading, 3 to 10 pages in length. There are between 60 and 70 readings each semester, and while these reading quizzes are very short, they're just 5 questions per quiz. It's really quite important that the students do the reading, and this ensures that the students do the reading, I think, and it directs their attention to the things that were important in the reading. There is a sample question there, really quite a simple fact-based question that you probably know the answer to, about Machiavelli's seminal work on how to rule. It's those kinds of questions, generally just kind of fact-based stuff. I just want to check to make sure that the students did the reading and they're getting something out of the reading. We also have 15% of the grade, which are learning objectives. There are usually about 8 learning objectives per unit. And a learning objective is something like explain the emergence of and theories behind the new monarchies and evaluate the degree to which they were able to centralize power in their states. Now, these learning objectives come from the College Board, and these are the kinds of things that the College Board expects students to know and to be able to do. I also like to include some identifications or some what I like to call evidentiary terms, evidence that proves whatever the student is talking about with these new monarchies, for example. Evidentiary terms that could fit inside of this learning objective would be like the 100 Years' War or the French New Monarchy. Students look at those terms, hopefully they know what they are, and hopefully they can figure out how to use them in the learning objective. I usually don't look carefully at these learning objectives. It's really a chance just for students to think about what they learned in the unit and then write something about what they think the College Board or what I'm looking for. I do look at them carefully if the students don't do well on their assessments, however, and we typically start to talk about them a little bit more than if students aren't being particularly successful or if they're not really taking the learning objectives seriously. Otherwise, it's 15% of their grade that is really pretty much just free points. The multiple choice exams are about 30% of the grade. They occur about every 3 or 4 weeks. It's generally 40 questions, sometimes 30 questions. I think the first one is a 30-question quiz or exam just to get the students prepped for that. They are stimulus-based AP-style questions. In other words, they are attached to a map, they're attached to a quote, they're attached to a bit of a document or something that then the students has to answer questions that are associated with that stimulus. When the students take these tests, they are fairly difficult. That's why the grading scale is so generous. If students get about half of the questions right, it's a B-. It's an 80%. I think it's really similar actually to the AP or to the College Board's grading scale as well. If on the national test you get about half those questions right, you're doing okay. Nobody really wants a B-. And so, doing much better than 50% is the rule. The AP exam is hopefully May 2021, and as you probably know, students can earn college credit for taking this and doing well on it. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes, and the kinds of things that we did in class, the multiple choice questions, the written essays, the LEQ and the SAQs are what you find on the test. I really want to prepare the students well for the test. It's not just about the test, but certainly doing well on the test is really quite important for students in this class. My students over the past number of years have generally done really quite well on the test. About 85% or so score a 3 out of 5 or higher, and a 3 is generally college credit in most institutions. About 50% of my students also score a 4 or a 5, 5 being the best grade. So I'm really quite pleased with the ability of the Edina students, and we have a good relationship, and the symbiosis that we have works out to the benefit of the students, to be sure. I am in my 26th year of teaching. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in European history from a couple of institutions. I've been teaching AP Euro for about 19 years. In the past, I've graded the exams, the national exams for the College Board back in 2010 and 2012. A lot of students think that they get quite a bit of German information because I'm fluent in German and know quite a bit about German history. I'm a frequent traveler to Europe as well. I like to be funny. I like to tell stories. I like to tell the history of Europe, and I'm really quite enthusiastic about the class. So I hope that students enjoy this class, and I'll do my best to give them a good experience. If you need to contact me, it's daniel.barron@edinaschools.org. Thanks so much. Look forward to seeing the students soon.